Hi everyone, very good morning and welcome to the second edition of Build with Shakti. I'm your host Nathasha Singh and this entire webinar is powered by. Now, those who have attended the first round of Build with Shakti, you guys already know what it's all about. But I'm also assuming that there would be some new participants over here who have curiosity about it, but they do not exactly know that what it's gonna unfold. So, for the unawares, Build with Shakti is our endeavor, is an initiative from our end to help people tap into their inner life force, you can say your spiritual energy, and create an idea and turn it into something extraordinary. So it's basically part spirituality and parts entrepreneurship. That's how you can utilize that life force that's running within you for your entrepreneurial needs. That's our purpose. And this entire idea is led by Nathasha Kumar. Nathasha is a serial entrepreneur. She has built and scaled many companies to multi-crore businesses. And she is the co-creator at New York as well. And she's the founder of Maloka Venture Studio. And with New York, this collaboration, again, we are trying to bring you guys things and perspectives that can help you turn your dreams into reality, right? Because as New Yug, as a media company, we guys are an upcoming media company. That's what we are here for, that we want to present you as many perspectives, as many mentors that can help you get your life better, that can help you go from your desired situation in life to the situation that you want, to your desired one, from your current reality to your desired reality, right? So without any further delay, I'd like to invite Nathasha and give the stage to her.
So very good morning, everyone. Is it possible to see your faces? If you guys can turn on your camera, if you can be brave enough to turn on your camera. I can see Swapna. Hey, Swapna. I can see Ayushi. Ivy is there. Some old faces, some new faces. Good morning, everyone. All right. So yeah, I mean, first of all, I think you must thank yourself. Ki on a Saturday morning, you're choosing to do this. Ki, Saturdays ko sapne apne errands hote hain. Everybody has their task list to do. We like to wake up late. Then we like to have, brunch. This is what the agenda always has been, right? And I always look forward to Saturdays and Sundays, by the way, right? Because it's like, it's an extra time that's for myself. That's the time that I give to myself to take care of myself, to take care of my environment and all that. Or usually ऐसा होता था that on Saturdays and Sundays I would take care of my external environment. मेरा कमरा ठीक है, मेरे बाल कटे होने चाहिए, pedicure, can I go and buy some flowers? Can I go buy some veggies? But we very rarely forget to take care of this. What do we do to make sure that this is in place, the sanity is in place, right? So thank you so much. And you must thank yourself to give your time on a Saturday morning to come and be a part of this whole thing that we experimented with last time. So if you guys I don't know, who's joined Build with Shakti before? I'd really like to know. किसने Build with Shakti पहले join किया है? How many of you were there? How many of you are new? Seems like there is an entirely new population that has come in into Build with Shakti. So मैं आपको context दे देती हूँ. And I think since there are more new people this time around, we might kind of go back to the previous thing. But इसके बाद we'll also set the agenda on what's about to come into this whole thing that we are building, right? As Nathasha told you, my name is Nathasha. I'm Nathasha too at New York. And I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've built 2 companies before this. Now I'm building a venture studio, for which New York is also one part of it. And we are building simultaneously other companies as we proceed, right? Build with Shakti shuru kyun kiya, right? What was the idea behind this whole thing? Or ye experiment shuru kaise hua? This basic experiment started with me kind of asking a lot of questions, right? बहुत सारे लोगों के मन में सवाल होते हैं, चाहे आप अपना एक बिजनेस खड़ा कर रहे हैं, राइट, यू आर क्रिएटिंग समथिंग, यू आर ट्राइंग टू पिवट इनटू अ न्यू करियर, वी ऑल हैव दीज मैसिव क्वेश्चंस कि मैं इसको कैसे करूं. देयर इज दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड दैट आई एम सपोज टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ, कि मेरे को इस मटेरियल दुनिया में जीना है. एंड देन देयर इज दिस, फॉर अ लॉट ऑफ अस, राइट, देयर इज दिस पुल. वो पुल है दैट आई वांट टू नो मोर, राइट. Yes, I was born into an XYZ religion, but what is it all about? Right? ये कहानियां, ये rituals जो हम ये सब सुनते हैं, what is it about? And then there is a sense of curiosity that we all have. And there is also curiosity के साथ साथ there is a sense of knowing also. वो sense of knowing ये है कि इससे कुछ और ज्यादा भी है. There's something much more bigger out there, you know, in the world for me to experience and to explore. विद दैट डाइकोटमी, एक इंसान ना हमेशा या तो इधर सोचता है या तो इधर सोचता है. हम ना इसको पोलैरिटी की तरह सोचते हैं. वी स्टार्ट थिंकिंग ऑफ दिस लाइक one end of the side is my material success, my business, my creation, my job, my career, and the other side I think of the spiritual side of me, the side of me that is constantly seeking, right? So it becomes like one big confusion in a lot many times, right? किस किस को ऐसा feel हुआ है? Who have felt that a pull, a constant pull, you know, कि either I can be this or either I can be that. There has been this constant pull that we felt for a really long time. Now, while some of us can say, okay, you know, there is a balanced way. मतलब कुछ balance हो सकता है. There can be a balanced reality to all of this. But sometimes we don't know what that balance is. कई बार when we enact something, it works for us, and sometimes it doesn't work for us. And then the confusion begins again. क्यों दोबारा से वो feeling आती है that I go to my office, I'm doing my work, I'm creating my business, yet I come across a video on YouTube or I come across a book that pulls me to the other side again. And then you start thinking, what am I doing? Right? और basically इसी question को answer करने के लिए we started Build with Shakti, right? Since many of you are new here, I like to share something on the screen because last time we've gone through the entire exercise, right? A lot of us, we were, I think, 100 plus people that talked about this entire thing. So हम इसको briefly करेंगे and then we'll have an open session because this session was supposed to be like a reoccurrence of Build with Shakti. Our intention was not to get more new people. Our intention was to get more old people also, so we can have a continuous dialogue. But since we're also experimenting with this, we can mix it up. We can talk about what we talked about in our first conversation, and then we can kind of shorten it up and then have an open dialogue. Perhaps listen to all of your stories. कि आपकी कहानियां सुने, आपके क्वेश्चन सुने, and then let's just have a dialogue, right? One thing I would request through this entire exercise, the way we need to perceive this. So I am not a guru. I am not somebody who has the answers, right? I am somebody who's still seeking. I'm somebody who's still in the quest, right? और मेरी कोशिश ये है because I've become an active seeker in the sense. Now I'm trying to see the early signs of कि वो mixture or balancing दिखती कैसे. I've started seeing that now, right? And the way I was able to see it, of course, seeking, right? I had to take a break and understand all of this. But at the same time, I think I learned more from meeting more people. Meeting more such people, जिन्होंने वो crack किया है, right? Because there is an inherent desire, you know, I've always been this very ambitious person, and I was like, I truly enjoy the act of seeking, the act of the Gyan Yoga, है ना? किसी गंगा किनारे जाके बैठना, for example, right? All of these micro acts, it ignites something in me. But दुनिया कहती थी that, you know, people have always said that money creation is bad. That's the perception. At least that's the kind of contemplative thought मेरी फैमिली में था, मेरी इकोसिस्टम में था कि यार जो धार्मिक लोग होते हैं, जो स्पिरिचुअल लोग होते हैं, they don't make money, they don't create stuff and all that. And that was the propaganda that I saw. And hence वो limiting belief कहीं ना कहीं मेरे में भी आ गई थी. But there was an internal knowing also. The internal knowing was कि the feeling when I sit in a meditation and the feeling when I'm creating something, it's the same feeling. उसके भाव में difference हो सकता है, but the feeling at the core is the same. It just ignites something in me that puts me in the state of that जिसको हम flow भी बोलते हैं, right? I'm like, then there is something. Then how do we find that? So what worked out for me was meeting such people, being in the company of such people, जिनको सिर्फ observe करके I was able to grasp that yes, there is a different reality. So Build with Shakti का motive दो चीजें हैं. That one is we have an open dialogue on people who are building the businesses, people who are creating something, people who are pivoting in their life, and who are also serious seekers at the same time. This community is for those people, right? The second aspect of this is going to be learning from people who have cracked it, right? So our intention is कि next every 15 days we're going to host a session on Build with Shakti. And every time we're going to bring some fantastic people who have cracked it, right? People who are at the top of the game and they crack this whole idea of कि कुछ create हो सकता है, right? I can be attuned with my own inner power, yet I can be in the material world building, making money, creating jobs, creating art, and doing what I truly love. And trust me, it's possible. Those people are out there. My job is to bring those people to this table so we can have and co-learn from these guys. Game, everybody understood? What are we kind of aiming at Build with Shakti? So let's quickly review because I think it's the same whole fundamental, right? In the beginning, I truly love something. और जब वो monotonous हो जाता है, when it becomes a monotony, I start hating it, right? And then I need escape. We find escape in something, right? Something that we think is a permanent reality. Now soak that in for a moment, right? We all have our escapes. जब चीजें boring हो जाती हैं, जब चीजें monotonous हो जाती हैं, we try to find our escapes. Now some escapes are great escapes, some escapes are not as great, right? Dunya mein, what are we seeing? We are seeing when people get tired. I was at, I live in Gurgaon. I was at Cyber City, a while back. And we just went there, with our friends for, like drinks in the evening. And I just saw people jo Cyber City mein kaam karte hain, and they just, after hours, they're just drinking. They're just drinking away. And there's no judgment for it. Like, I'm not judging that aspect. But that's one also. There's an escape that's built like that, right? Even in the matrix of the reality, हमारा escape भी वैसे plan किया गया है. आप काम करोगे, आप नीचे building से उतरोगे, you will go into a pub, right? That's how it's also built. My escapes clearly were traveling. Like I would just travel. My other escape was books that I would just read and read and read, right? After a while, it definitely becomes an escape. Because in my mind, I was like, I'm creating my business. And just to stay in tune with my spiritual reality, I read a lot of spiritual books. But I never came across a book that gave me an idea that this can be compiled. So even in my mind, it was like a two separate thing. And I built two different realities. In office, I would be a different person. When I'm the spiritual person, I'm a different person altogether. There was a divide. And that's the big divide that we all feel, which is primarily the inner battle, right? Now, in the whole pursuit of seeking and discovery, right? Shakti has been like a permanent part of me. I come from a Punjabi family. हमारे यहाँ, देवी को बहुत पूजा जाता है in the sense. तो Shakti has always been that mother force जिसको हम फोटो में देखते हैं, with the lion and all that. But I started realizing Shakti is far more different than that. Because when you questions, आप अपने मम्मी पापा से पूछते हो. I remember when I was like 11, 12 years old, मैंने अपनी मॉम से पूछा क्या, ये देवी कब होती थी? It's like a very basic question. क्योंकि बोला जाता है ना, she is here. So I was like, was she a human? क्या वो मतलब वाकई में was there a woman riding a tiger, or a lion, living on this planet? क्या वो एक reality थी? It was like a very basic young kid question. Because you're trying to make sense कि ये जो भगवान हम देख रहे हैं, were they real? Or are they real? And the question that जो मैंने पूछा और उसका जो आंसर आया, it was not as, it was an answer that I felt she was also given by her mother or her relatives or whatever, which was कि भगवान तो होते हैं, वो तो यहाँ पे थी, ये नहीं होता. And then quickly it starts with, कि अगर ये नहीं होता तो सेतु नहीं होता. All these stories would just pop up. And I would get more confused as a child. Ki, to me, to my human brain, it doesn't make sense that there is a woman riding a lion, that existed on this planet. I don't know. Could have been. But वो मेरी reality नहीं था. So I had to find my own reality that synced into my own state. So that's where the discovery began. छोटे छोटे सवालों से बड़े बड़े सवाल आंसर होते गए. और कहीं आंसर भी नहीं हुए, they're just there. तो सवालों में ही अपने आप में एक आंसर मिलने लग गया है. To which this is one clean answer that I realized. Shakti in Sanskrit, this says it's clearly to be able. Shakti is clearly, इसका मतलब English to Hindi simple है, Hindi भी नहीं, Sanskrit to English is to be able. कि आप काबिल हैं, you can do it. That this can become your reality of doing, right? Are we all aligned so far? We're all in sync. What is happening? So when I started, talking to these people, I met a lot of gurus and, और मैं हर इंसान से ना एक ही सवाल पूछती थी कि what is truly the meaning of being? होने का मतलब क्या है हमारे यहाँ पे, Now these are big fundamental questions जो शायद हम अकेले में सोचते हैं, लेकिन हमें डर ये लगता है कि अगर हम लोगों के सामने बोलने लग जाएंगे, अपने परिवार के साथ बोलेंगे, we talk about that with our family, they might feel that, we are insane. You felt that? Who felt that? Is there a feeling that, if I start talking to my family that way, they might feel that I'm going insane? Because I also realized मेरे साथ ऐसा होने लग गया था, तो मेरी मॉम मेरे को बोलती थी, मेरी सिस्टर को, इसका ध्यान रखना, ये ना बाबा ना बन जाए. So my sister had an eye on me when I was going through this process. And they still have an eye on me, by the way, right? In the sense, वो बोलते हैं बाबा ना बन जाए किसी दिन. But then, this is how it is. When we don't ask basic fundamental questions out loud, वो questions भी अपने आप में एक taboo बन के रह जाते हैं. But I was given the opportunity in the safe space to meet a lot of people who kind of had the answers. But if somebody didn't had the answers, उनकी being से ही answer मिल जाता था, in the sense. So Shakt was clearly to be able, right? And that's where the journey began of the realization that I've been given this body, I've been given this life, I've been given this breath. किसके लिए? Right? As species, as humanity, what are we here to clearly do? Now, अगर सबकी अपनी अपनी thesis हो सकती हैं, कोई कहता है कि एक दिन, धरती फटेगी और हम सब उसमें समा जाएंगे. Yes, can be a reality, right? I accept it. We'll all die one day, right? There's another reality that the COVID ने हमें दिखाई, that we are nothing clearly, right? हमारा वजूद ही क्या है as a species, that something as tiny as a microbiome can take place और ऐसे हमें मिटा सकता है, right? The third thing that is on the verge, which is AI. Abhi tak humans, we were the smartest on this planet. Now there's going to be a smarter creation that we also created. That's going to be there. So the permanence is not there. तो जब permanence नहीं होती है ना, I was just talking to my niece, she's 10-year-old, Gen X child. तो वो मुझको पूछ रही थी कि हमारी generations में difference क्या है. कल शाम की बात है. And I was like, we are millennials. हमारा था कि, we were transitioning from a normal reality to a digital reality. अब तुम्हारी species का काम simple है that you need to learn how to save the planet. That's it. And you know what she said? She's like, or we die. So it was such a weird and a scary feeling. I know it's thoda contextual ho raha hai, but think about it. 1 minute ke liye. Ki when we know the permanence is not there, normal human nature is to give up. है ना? Normal human nature बोलेगा YOLO. I will live the life way I want to. भाड़ में जाए सब कुछ, मैं तो अपने तरीके से जीऊंगा. जो permanence का idea ही नहीं है. But on the other side, there is a different perspective to think about it. Now, मैं कुछ ये नहीं कह रही that I'm not saying that this is right or wrong. I'm nobody to say this is the reality, this is the truth. And trust me, जो आपको बोलेगा this is the truth, please stay away from such people. Right? Because I don't like people who will say कि यही पत्थर की लकीर है. This is it. No. Everything is so energically molding कि आप किसी चीज को कैसे भी mold कर सकते. But I'll tell you the perspective that I chose to live the life with. Right? Yes, there is an idea of non-permanence. कल को कुछ भी हो सकता है that humanity can just vanish. हमसे पहले भी vanish की है, right? फिर नए तरह के humans आए हैं, vanished. फिर कुछ नया आया है, vanished. फिर कुछ नया vanished. If the non-permanence is there, then what do we do? The perspective that I chose, but it started happening when I started meeting a lot of people that were the goddess worshippers, right? जिनको हम, देवी उपासक भी बोलते हैं. This was the big fundamental that I learned from people who were primarily saying that there is a life force in the universe. How do I get attuned to that life force? Is me being my highest spiritual self. Simple as that. कि मैं शौर्या हूँ, मैं एक XYG शहर में रहती हूँ, right? But my higher state is something else that I need to discover probably, right? Now, how do I discover that? That comes from basic understanding that we've been able to grasp is कि दुनिया में हर चीज एक cosmic energy है. Everything that we see, everything that we breathe, everything that's around, there is energy, right? Humans have energy, animals have energy, plants have energies. I would say certain objects have energy, the sky has energy, every damn thing has energy, right? And that energy perhaps is that one fundamental जो हम सब में एक unique चीज है. मानते कि नहीं मानते? That energy is the one fundamental thing that is equivalent in all of us, which is the life force. How do we utilize that into the reality, right? Before going, I think, diving deeper into that whole context of the cosmic energy, let's come back to the dilemma. Dilemma कि मुझे अपना business खड़ा करना है, मुझे अपना career pivot करना है, मुझे कुछ create करना है, but there is a part of me that feels this is not it. How do I build reality? Because when I see bigger companies making such poor moves, impacting the planet, my blood boils, right? When I see people who are supposed to succeed are not succeeding, but जिनको success नहीं मिलनी चाहिए थे वो success पा रहे हैं, my blood boils, right? When I see people, making money that are not supposed to be making money, are making money, my blood boils. This in fundamental is a presence of states that says that world is not fair, right? And I know, coming from a middle class family, this is a construct. This is how we've been brought up. कि जो लोग पैसा कमाते हैं ना, वो गलत तरीके से ही कमाते हैं. आपको चालू होना पड़ता है, you need to be like really street smart in order to make money, right? When I started my business at 17, I was given all these things left, right, and center. कि क्या कर रही है? But I had no idea what was pushing me to do that at that point of time. Like, I have no clue what pushed me at that point of time. But there was this inherent desire कि कुछ करना है. I want to create something. I had no desire कि ये कुछ बन जाएगा and something will happen. I just wanted to create at that point of time. And perhaps it worked that way, right? So we primarily have a lot of construct around the idea of creation first. और हम spirituality को इतना पाक और इतना pious मानते हैं that we feel that something as ugly as money should not come near this. But think about it. If everything is energy, then what is the idea of money? Think about it. अगर हर चीज एनर्जी है, and I think आजकल ये बहुत चल रहा है, break your money patterns, block your abundance वाली, जो abundance को block करने पे लगी हुई है, your patterns and all that. We're doing that, a lot of that at Neo Yuga. It works beautifully because it helps people like us to break the patterns that we have around creating money, creating something of tangible reality and making money out of it. But that's the primarily first step to kind of start saying, hey, I want to, come out of that block. Then perhaps I will be able to come into this reality. Now, don't accept to find all these answers. ये एक session के अंदर. It is going to be a journey. And trust me, it is a very individual journey. While we can collectively learn, right? Maybe 30, 40, 50 of us come together on every 15 days on a Saturday and learn from these people who have made it. It's going to be a very individual journey. I'm not saying that you're not going to be given any ritual or any book to read, right? But what I would advise is Atmachintan, self-introspection, self-contemplation. When you're just thinking in your thoughts about this whole thing, by thinking, we can break a lot of patterns. So as you start on this journey of saying, hey, I am this person who's trying to build XYZ, and I still want to attach to my spiritual self, I will start that journey from today of finding that core, finding that balance, and I will live it to my fullest. But that will require a lot of contemplation. So if you're ready, I think we can begin from there. But this is a very basic thing that we talked about last time. कि एक journey क्या होती है? How do we get detached from our own state? Because Shakti, the cosmic energy जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं, that is always there permanently within us. It's always there around us. हमेशा हमारे आसपास है. The only question is, sometimes we can tap into it, sometimes we can't tap into it. And sometimes people completely shun it. Right? Like victim mentality and all of that completely shuns that whole thing. That the cosmic energy that's flowing. Sometimes जब मैं कुछ गा रही हूँ, मैं खाना बना रही हूँ, मैं कुछ लिख रही हूँ, मैं अपना बिजनेस बना रही हूँ, मैं बिजनेस में अपने कुछ डिजाइन कर रही हूँ, मैं एक मीटिंग में बैठी हूँ. When you feel that flow, that's where the cosmic energy is alive, vibrating, thriving in our body. And that feeling is fantastic. We've all felt it. We've all felt it. But the idea is, usko permanent state में कैसे लाया जाए? So for any creator or a seeker, एक journey शुरू होती है कि बचपन में एक spark होता है that a 10-year-old Lata was able to sing and dance really well, for example. Right? Lata grew up, Lata went to school, Lata went to college. She used to perform throughout that journey, right? Everybody used to look at Lata and say, hey, wow, Lata, you're such a good singer. Wow, Lata, you're such a good dancer, right? And then as Lata started growing up, Lata got married, Lata had kids, something or the other happened, right? So from Spark, there was a structure that was given, the life happened, the status quo happened, or फिर एक vacuum आ गया, right? Or perhaps it was perhaps Anu that said, I enjoy creating stuff. I enjoy the art of creation, something beautiful. Then it becomes a construct, then became the construct became calendars, the calendars became schedules, schedules became these meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings, and then came the status quo. And then came the vacuum. Now the journey can look different for all of us, but it all started with Spark. And why do I say that it started with Spark? Because the reality is all of us had that spark. We've just forgotten it. We're supposed to live our life. Life is not supposed to, it's not supposed to be the other way around. But it happened to us. We started hating what we truly enjoyed at one point of time. We started escaping from our responsibilities also, perhaps. Right? What felt like love to me became chains now. And then the worst part comes, which is the part of the frustration. We start feeling frustrated. We start feeling detached from the reality. And what happens in detachment? Now, this is the scary part, but यहाँ पे something beautiful also occurs. Sometimes in that detachment, the detachment leads us to spirituality. The detachment can be, oh, I went to Kulu and we did this hike with our friends. And then I met a Baba, and that Baba said something that ignited something in me. But I came back to my office 2 days back, and I've just been thinking about the conversation that I had with that Baba. Now, that's also a form of detachment, but a good detachment, right? Because now you have something to ponder upon. And this is where I felt that, the whole detachment phase also begins, because you see a spark. You go meet somebody invites you for a meditation. That guys, yeah, let's come, let's just meditate, right? Ayushi, yeah, Swapna, Falguni, let's just come together, let's just meditate together. And then in that meditation, something happens. You can't forget it. Somebody told you, yeah, there is this book that you must read. And in that book, you see a para that completely shifts something in you. And that shift is nothing but the same spark that was in the beginning. It can look different, but it is the same spark. Now think about it for a moment. Contemplate. You can just be with yourself for 1 minute and ask yourself, of the beginning spark that was always there, or that one trigger that ignited that again something in you. The fact that आप Build with Shakti जैसे टॉपिक के प्रोग्राम में आए हुए हो, that clearly means that you are a seeker. You are a creator, you're a seeker, just divided between this monotony of this world. But think about this spark. What triggered for you to think about that again? Because while at this moment, वो लग रहा होगा कि trigger has detached me from the world, and then हम construct बनाने लग जाएं इससे पहले कि, मैं तो simple जिंदगी ही जीऊंगी. Sure, why not? मेरे लिए 10,000 रुपए ही काफी है. Sure, why not? मैं यही जिंदगी कमा लूं, मेरे लिए बहुत है. Sure, why not? But think about it. Our reactions of detachment and frustration is telling us to accept less. because we have this whole new idea that we are now spiritual, you know, iska kuch matlab nahi hai, and then I will accept less. Perhaps in my 50s, I'll go live in an ashram. Now, what I want to say is, कि ये एक layer है सोच की. I'm not saying this is a bad layer. Because this layer, we are primarily talking about the tangible outcomes of things. What you're okay with. What I want to talk about is the other outcome. Right? I'm not saying कि if you're okay with 10,000 rupees, I'm not telling you कि आपको तो 1 लाख ही कमाना है. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying if you're happy living in a 1 BHK, you must live in a 10 BHK. I'm not saying that. Less is more. I am a big believer of less is more. But I'm saying the spark that we continue to see once in a while in our lifetime, what is it all about? Think about it. Why only I have been given that spark to realize? And that's what happens when you start seeking, right? Something or the other. This, you coming to this webinar is part of your seeking, right? Let me try to find more answers. Let me try to see ki baatein kya ho rahi hai. And then the whole cycle begins that we must face the truth. Trust me, in the journey, we must face some hard truths, जिसके बारे में हम आज शायद बात नहीं करेंगे. But then after facing the truths, the tools and the gift appear. When I say tools and gifts, you meet people who have cracked it. You will meet gurus. Now, I'm not saying gurus who will give you like a mantra and then you become their shishya. No, you will meet gurus in your day-to-day life. And that's where the whole gift journey will begin. The spark जो microseconds में आता है जिंदगी में, every 5 years, every 10 years, will start becoming like a permanent streak. It'll start happening that way. Suddenly you'll start feeling कि यार, everything is falling into the place without me doing anything. मैं कुछ कर नहीं रही हूँ, मैं कुछ कर नहीं रहा, I'm not doing anything yet, everything is falling into the place. The business idea I always wanted to create, I'm suddenly finding people who are looking to create something similar with me. And yes, there is a mystical element to it. The mystical is that none of us understand energy. None of us know what it is about. We can only experience it. We can't understand it. I don't know, understand निकल करने चलेंगे तो कहाँ जाएंगे, but at this stage, I'm like, let's just experience it. Because then it makes you realize that something far more wider is there that is falling into the place for you to become your higher self. And that's where perspectives come in, and then we start creating again. But this time around, when we create something, we create with that permanent stake जो हमारी life में permanence की तरह है, you know, and that becomes the reality. And this, I will share this with the new guys who are here today, so you can also kind of dive deeper and see where you are at. Now, in the whole seeking state, what worked for me last time, as I talked about, contemplation, observation, truly worked for me. कि मुझे किसी गुरु की जरूरत नहीं, जब तक गुरु मेरी जिंदगी में ना आए, जब तक मैं ऐसे लोगों से ना मिलूं, can I just contemplate and think about it? If you felt कि as a child I was always been like this, you were always contemplative, right? I won't say that makes you special because that ignites our ego. You know, spiritual ego बहुत बड़ा होता है, बहुत बड़ा होता है, right? Especially माला पहन लो तो you know, it becomes massive after that. But contemplation is one exercise that Atma Chintan karna, you know, just asking ourselves that internal inquiry would really help us connect to that energy. It might not give us permanent answers, but it'll help us connect and ignite that spark somewhere or the other. Gyan yoga, bhakti yoga helps. Gyan yoga is that I seek by watching videos, I attend webinars, I do courses, I go for Vipassana, you know, I read some book, I watch a podcast. Bhakti yoga is that मुझे तो कुछ भी नहीं आता यार, clearly. And trust me, I've realized in the entire journey, when nothing works, Bhakti Yoga works. That I am not putting an idol or anything. You can believe in an idol. You can go to, an ashram. You can go to a temple. You can go to a masjid. You can go to, a church Sunday prayer, and you can sing. And you can sing at top of your voice, and then you can just surrender and say, "Mere se nahi ho raha. Just help me." When nothing works, Bhakti Yoga clearly works, right? You can sing, you can chant, do anything that you want. But the third most important thing for me also that worked was, taking a pause and a rest after a while. Because in the journey of doing one after the other, trying to live the life the way society has constructed for us, हमने ना pause नहीं लिया. Yes, we rest, we go for micro holidays, या हम Sunday को थोड़ा extra सो जाते हैं. But truly ask yourself, have you paused? Yes, I have to jump from one career to the other. I have to think about the logistics, the making money part of it. Yes. But have you truly paused? Think about it. The last thing, which is the most exciting one, again, pilgrimage, travel to places. मुझे किसी ने बोला था, नताशा, घूमना बड़ा जरूरी है क्योंकि तुम्हें पता नहीं कि कहाँ की किस मंदिर की एनर्जी, किस जगह की एनर्जी तुम्हारे अंदर वो स्पार्क दोबारा से जगा दे. And if thesis is correct, if the energy is one singular thing, and it's like अगर वो कुछ tangible होता, मान लो वो करेंसी की तरह होता, वो गेम में खेलते ना, मारियो में जब मारियो जंप करता है, क्लिक करता है और उसको कॉइन एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है. If it was like that, then I would truly take that pledge and go to places where the coins I know are available. And I would jump. कभी coin निकलेगा, कभी mushroom निकलेगा. I will just take that in. If the energy is like that, then I rather go to places where I know I will be able to tap into that source again. In my experience, I was never able to tap it at the most popular temples. I was able to tap it at the most quietest of the places that I was able to find. और जरूरी नहीं था वहां पे एक मंदिर था. It was just a mountain. It was just the ocean. Sometimes I find that in Gurgaon also, like a busy city like this. I find it in traffic also at times. You just never know where you find it. So this, as a seeker, would clearly work. The last thing, of course, surrender के बिना, समर्पण के बिना कुछ भी नहीं है. कहते the biggest thing that you can offer to this energy, to the Shakti, is, the bhav of surrender. If I go into this whole space thinking that I am this big shot, I don't know what happens. But if I go into this space knowing that I don't know much, you please help me, whatever it is, it comes. But throughout doing all of this, I'm just trying to attune to that inner spark. मैं बस वही कर रही हूँ. Whether I'm sitting in a meditation, whether I'm attending a PNL meeting, the only thing that is igniting the creation and the act of realization is the spark, is the Shakti, is the universal energy. Now think about it. If that thing is the same, then there is nothing difference between a hardcore sales meeting, going to your CA, trying to sell your art, trying to build a business, trying to hire people, trying to look for a new, job that would give you satisfaction, to sitting in a meditation, going to Vipassana, going into a temple. The question is, can I accept that as a fact in my reality? Because we all know when we are not in tune, whatever we work on doesn't work. We all know it. We've all experienced it. We've all seen it. आप कोशिश करते रहोगे, आप मेहनत करते रहोगे, business नहीं चलेगा. You know, you will push against the current, nothing will work. And then suddenly you find that attunement, and then you're working 50% less of that, and suddenly everything works. Now that's the fundamental, that the perspective that we can choose to live with, right? And when all of that starts happening, because a perspective की change है, यहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा नहीं होता that, you know, people think कि गुरु आते हैं, वो आपको दीक्षा दे देते हैं, you know, something happens, that something changes in you and all that. No. Self-contemplation can also lead to that drastic perspective change in reality. कि I can shift this energy to the way I want to. I know my spark. I know I'm good at something. What gift do I have that I can offer to the world? We need to accept our gifts and then offer it to the world. याद है जो मैं बात कर रही थी कि I'm happy with 10,000 rupees. Sure, be happy with 10,000 rupees. But earn 1 lakh. Give 90,000 away. Yeah. पेड़ लगा दो यार. I'm just coming from that state because the gift that you have, the gift that we carry, has far more bigger fundamentals, and it can reap better fruits in this energetic state that we all live in. So it's just वो चेतना की बात है. क्या मैं अपनी चेतना को lack में जी रही हूँ, या मैं अपनी चेतना को एक abundant state में जी रही हूँ? मेरी need एक अलग concept है. My need is a very different concept from my state of being, my state of operating. My state of operating needs to be top class. That I have been given a gift to create. If you can paint, think of how many people can paint around you. I don't know how many. If you can build a business, I don't know how many people can build a business. Think of that. If you can speak, if you can write, if you can document, all of these skills are our gifts that we have. Why don't I use those to create something that the world will enjoy? And in most of the cases, that if you enjoy it from that chetna, you know, one is that I've been creating, but मुझे उसका return नहीं मिल रहा. One is when I just create for the crate of creating it. Suddenly you will be like, there are thousands of users for that. And these are not my thoughts. These are the thoughts that are shared by the people that I've talked to over the years. कि नताशा, मेहनत तो मैं पहले भी करता था, अक्ल तो मेरे को पहले भी थी, but क्या बदलाव आया यार? कि suddenly my company got funded and I'm now building a unicorn. A woman that she's very popular in the D2C space. I'm bringing a very dear friend. She struggled with her basic chota sa brand for 10 years before she got funded, and now she's expanding into countries like Singapore and all of that. And while talking to her, she's like, Natasha, सब तो ये मैं पहले भी कर रही थी, but बदलाव क्या आया? The reality was that she just became in tuned and in aligned in her own state, and with that consciousness, that's it. And of course, she will come, she will share her understanding and her knowing, and we'll understand it from that. And yes, she is a person who is so sweet and core and nice person at heart. She just want to give back. और जब उसने, I remember when she raised funds and all that, she's like, नताशा, पैसा मिल रहा है ना, मैं ले लेती हूँ और ले लेती हूँ. You know, जितना जल्दी grow कर लेंगे ना, मेरे को ना वो दूसरे, you know, she has a side project where they, you know, they do a lot of great stuff for animals on the other side. She's like, वो मुझे करने में मदद मिल जाएगी. And when she has that intention, the world just provides. And these are the rare examples that I've seen over and over and over again in my ecosystem. मेरे लिए गुरु ऐसे अपीयर हुए, because at one point after creating for 12 years, I was just tired. I had nothing more to give to the world. I was like, ho gaya mera, because there was this inherent desire to just detach. And I was like, perhaps this part of my life was all about creation and building businesses. The next part of my life is going to be about living in an ashram. फिर मैं fundamentals पे गई and then it didn't make sense. It's like अगर मैं आश्रम में गई ना तो मैं आश्रम में जाके आश्रम को organize करने लग जाऊंगी. I will start building a business around the ashram. I'll launch the merge. Because that's who I am at the core. Then am I doing the same thing there? Just thinking, yes, it's a spiritual setting. I'm a spiritual person now. मैंने माला पहन लिया, मैंने भगवा पहन लिया, and I will offer my services to the ashram. So these are the dichotomies that one has to go through in order to come back to the sense of reality that what do I have to offer to the world? And with what aspect do I have to offer to the world? And big part for me was getting rid of my mental money blockages. Big part. For me to lead to this current state. So that's what it's about, guys, right? This is very interesting phase. One book that I highly recommend that everybody kind of, reads is called If Truth Be Told. It's a completely drastic opposite book. Basically, it's a techie multi-millionaire from Australia, leaves everything, becomes a monk. Exactly what we are talking about. Completely opposite to what we are talking about. But in the end, he says something, He said that Krishna, Christ, Buddha, and Muhammad shared their knowledge and truth with the world. But they did not invent the light bulb, or create fire, or invent tools for agriculture. We own a gratitude the minds who gave us these gifts as much as we do to those who have imparted great spiritual truth to us. Are we to say one is better than the other? We need both. Fundamentally, क्या कह रहे हैं कि the way I perceived it, I went to, Lahiri Mahashay ka, there is this small house in Banaras. I went there for the first time. I mean, दीवार पे Albert Einstein, Jesus, all these different pictures of these people I was seeing, of scientists, of creators and all that, right? And it's from the school of Kriya Yoga and all that. And I was very shocked. मैंने कहा यार Albert Einstein की मतलब मंदिर में Albert Einstein की फोटो क्यों है, Jesus की फोटो क्यों है, like Tesla की फोटो क्यों है यहाँ पे? And after a while, I realized that, it was a reminder for people of this exact same thing that Om Swami talks about here. That he says that the same energy flows that flowed through Buddha, that he was able to leave his Rajpath and kind of go into this and then, become this monk and share his knowledge to the world. The same spark was in Albert Einstein or Nicholas Tesla. It's the same damn spark. One was able to create like a parting of truth to the world in one way or the other, out of which came Buddhism. One was able to help us have this light that we have, live this reality that we live in. Think about this device that we are on. We might be from 20, 30 different cities perhaps, yet we're all connected and talking to this. The person who created this device, the person who created Wi-Fi, the person who created internet, is he or she any different than Buddha? To me, in my fundamental reality, clearly not. Now think about it. So when we start experiencing life from that perspective, the gift that I have to offer to the world becomes suddenly important. That if I don't create, I will not have jobs. People will not have jobs. People will not have the products or services I have to offer. Something will not ignite in their life. The flow of energy will not happen. It will not stop. Right? And I'm not coming from this aggressive, greedy state. वो एक अलग state of being है. I'm coming from the state that fundamental thing is the same damn thing. Your art needs to be seen by more people in the world. Your art needs to be sold in the world. So when they put up your art in their home, other people can come and see and experience that, and it ignites something in them. The business that you're doing today, if it is impacting 100 people, do it with your whole heart. Because you don't know कितने लोगों के घर चल रहे. Yes, maybe the reality is that we might not be as great as Nikola Tesla or Albert Einstein, but we can be in our own way of being. So if the fundamental is that everything will be destroyed one day, but I will do the justice to what I've been given, the gifts that I've been given, the emotions that I've been given, the feelings that I've been given, I will utilize it to create something in the world, live a great, happy life, live in 10,000 rupees perhaps, but have better in the bank so you can give it all away. That's the state I would choose, right? And I don't mind. Somebody would want to come and say, hey, Nathasha, I really want to kind of buy like a top class car, live in a fancy house, travel, private jets and all that, and still give back and still create in the world. Great. Because that's Shakti. Shakti is just creation. Every damn thing that is being created all around us is Shakti. From the vaccine, to the car, to the house, to the material wealth, to this internet, every damn thing is Shakti. So I rather utilize all of that to create something beautiful in the world so I can live a great life and maybe die one day. I don't know. I'm okay with that. No problem. Think about it. So this is the fundamental, right? When it comes to that. And after a while comes a point when you have to ask yourself and say, hey, you know what? I've truly mastered the survival mode. The survival mode was, I'm this tiny, puny human. मेरा तो कुछ दुनिया में बनता ही नहीं है. मैं करती क्या हूँ? मैं आर्ट बना के क्या कर लूंगी? मैं बिजनेस बना के क्या कर लूंगी? मैं पैसा बना के क्या कर लूंगी? To coming to your true power and say, hey, you know, I accept and I see the spark that was there, that is there. I see it. जरूरी नहीं है that you go to a temple and you will experience it. No. You will experience the same damn thing when you're creating something with your whole full heart in the world. दोनों में कलर का भी डिफरेंस नहीं है. Now you will be like, I can't see it. The fact is, we can't see it or we can't understand it. We can just feel it. We can just feel it. That's it. And the feeling might come as a sensation in your body. The feeling might come of a flow, right? The feeling might come when you're speaking. The feeling might come as this palpitation in your heart suddenly. That's how you'll feel it. And sometimes none of that would happen. It would just be there as a knowing. All of us here know what knowing is. I don't know how I know it, but I know it. You had that feeling? How many of us had that feeling here? That I don't know how I know it, but I know it. That is Shakti. That is Shakti coming as a reminder to us that, yes, it's there. Right? And when you live that, you suddenly realize करेंगे that people in your ecosystem start feeling that also. They will feel it. They'll be like, yeah, one fine day, you suddenly go and you're like, yeah, Ashish के पास जाओ ना. So suddenly there is a feeling of कि यार मुझे कुछ करना है. I want to do something. This person helps me ignite something in me. Because think about it. Remember the whole thing when we talked about the temple, the pilgrimage, that you go to a certain place where the energy is there, you gain it like a coin, you come back, you have it in you. And when you accept it, you become the temple. You are the pilgrimage. When people come near you, they feel it. The feeling can come in. I want to be as ambitious as her. I want to be as calm as him. I want to create my art in the world. I want to create my business in the world. मुझे भी कुछ करना है. And that feeling is, उसमें jealousy का ना कोई भाव नहीं. उसमें zero भाव है jealousy का. Because usually ऐसा होता है जब हम social media पे especially ऐसा होता है, हम लोगों को देखते हैं कोई travel कर रहा है दुनिया में, you know, making multi-million का revenue. There is a desire of jealousy, which is not a bad feeling. Jealousy can take you places if you use it well. But in this particular case, that spark that you ignited in you, when others come near you, they'll suddenly feel like, yeah, I can do this. They will feel a sense of confidence. They will feel a sense of being seen. And now think about it. If that's the reality, we are nothing but all antennas just working in this world of that energy, right? Just the antennas. Buddha was an antenna. He was able to tap into it with a very different reality, with a very different state. Albert Einstein was able to tap it. You know, Ratan Tata has been able to tap it. Shah Rukh Khan been able to tap it. You know, any person that we admire, that we really look up to, has been able to tap it. Some of them has that capacity now that when they come on the screen, people are like, oh my God. Life mein kabhi Shah Rukh Khan ko nahi, but look at Shah Rukh Khan, you're like, oh my God. You know? And not the popular ones, also the people who are not popular. I remember a time, you know, I told the story the last time also. I went to a doctor, ultrasound karwane ke liye, because apparently I had kidney stone problems and all that. And I went to the doctor. And you know the drill. Aap pani peete ho, you go inside and then they do your ultrasound and they try to find the stone where it's located and all that. Usually it's about 20-25 minutes of a process. I just remember going into that appointment and just spending 1.5 hours with the doctor, just from kidney stones to talking about the universe. Right? And that basic doctor, like, you know, he was like this guy in his 50s doing ultrasound, had smile on his face, plants in his, you know, office and all that. And I came back from that appointment thinking, wow, you know, something shifted in me after meeting this doctor. Second thing, I also realized that also I have kidney stones. So, you know, it's like how people change you. The people are not even known. That's Shakti. So when we know and we become aware of this whole reality, think about it. Why am I shying away from it? Why am I shying away from such powerful, potent thing that is already in my body? That already holds the spark for me to create a multi-million-dollar business? That already holds the spark for me to create an art, build a great career, create some beautiful videos, do anything. So that's the fundamental thing that we talked about last time. I think the whole thing we can do now is open up it for the community. Let's just ask ourselves, why don't you come together and why don't you share your own thoughts, your feeling on this entire thing? Before that, again, I like to remind what this community is for. We also have a group that we'll be building. This is truly my passion thing that I want to do, right? Because I remember feeling lost for so many years before I started finding answers. And I really want to make sure that we all find answers together. And we know that there are people out there that want to create and are also spiritual. Because either it'll be completely spiritual and then they'll tell you कि यार तुम तो गलत हो, I don't want that feeling to arise in this group. I want all of us to come together, share our successes, our updates with each other. That yes, look, I was able to launch my business. Look, I was able to have my art exhibition. Look, I was able to build a new career as a teacher. Look, I was able to build my YouTube channel. We should be all able to come together and share that with each other. And yet share our profound ideas in between. I was just thinking about this and this happened to me, right? So that's what this group is about. Next few classes, especially the next one, I'm truly excited about because I'm getting one of a really dear friend that changed, he was a God-sent person to me. In my lowest moment, I remember somebody connecting me to this guy. And he lives in Pondicherry. And he runs a multi-million-dollar fund from Pondicherry. Because आप जब fund manager सोचते हो, आप सोचते हो यार ये तो दिल्ली, बॉम्बे, बैंगलोर जैसे शहरों में रहते हैं, in fancy offices, wearing fancy suits. I met this guy, he was in chappal, scooty पे जा रहा था, but running a multi-million-dollar fund. Again, the whole idea that my need is a different thing, my ability to create is a different fundamental altogether. He lives a very basic life, rides a scooty, wears a chappal, wears cotton, but he has invested in a lot of the top unicorns in India. Now, people like that can teach you what true Shakti is. So he's our next guest. I think we're doing that event with him on the 8th. So we'll invite all of you there. You're all welcome to come and join us and just learn from this guy. And then, of course, we'll have more entrepreneurs and creators and artists coming and sharing their thoughts with us. So that's what about it. Let's open up the community room. If anybody would like to share something, have a question, feel free. We don't have an agenda. We can do that for the next 20, 30 minutes or so. Anyone would like to share anything? Okay, Shivani has raised her hand. Shivani, you can unmute yourself. Where is Shivani? Shivani, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
We'll have to find Shivani.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Shivani. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Natasha. I'm Shivangi, actually.
Shivangi. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Shivani.
it was really nice to listen to you, actually. And I was actually totally resonating with you. So I am a upasak of Devi. So I was like, okay, this is like you are talking whatever I feel, you are just sharing all that. So when I saw this Build with Shakti title, I was like, this is me. I have to be there.
Yeah.
So I am a tarot card reader and energy worker, and I have been doing this for last 7-8 years. After all that turmoil which I had in my life, this is how it happens, right? When everything failed, you realize your true passion actually. So I feel that because I was connected with the divine feminine power, I could become who I am today.
Yeah.
This is and when you said that every one of us has this life force energy which actually we just need to tap into it. And this is the best thing you said today, because जो भी मैं करती हूँ ना अपने प्रोफेशन में नताशा, आज तक करती आई हूँ, जैसे भी मैं अपने क्लाइंट्स को हेल्प करती आई हूँ, आई थिंक शी इज द वन दैट लाइफ फोर्स एनर्जी इज ऑलवेज गाइडिंग.
Yeah.
बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं है कि आई एम द मोस्ट एजुकेटेड और आई एम द मोस्ट स्किल्ड, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. बट वेन एवर आई सिट फॉर अ सेशन आई ट्राई माई बेस्ट. बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि देर इज सम पावर हु ऑलवेज हेल्पिंग मी,
Yeah.
एंड इट इज बियॉन्ड मी एक्चुअली. मैं भी उसको हमेशा समझ नहीं पाती हूँ, बट ये बहुत अच्छे से गाइड करती है. और मैं अपने सभी क्लाइंट्स को, जिन भी लोगों से मैं मिलती हूँ, जिस भी सराउंडिंग में मैं रहती हूँ, मैं सभी को यही मोटिवेट करती हूँ, टैप इनटू दैट पावर, लाइफ बिकम सो इजी.
Yeah.
ऐसा नहीं है कि चैलेंजेस नहीं आएंगे, बट उनको डील करना आ जाता है.
Yeah. So true. Shivangi,
और
tell us
या
more about yourself. Like, I'm very intrigued to know about your journey, if you like to share. That
श्योर
what
श्योर.
triggered for you?
सो मैं बेसिकली एक नॉर्थ इंडियन फैमिली से हूँ. यूपी के एक स्मॉल टाउन से मैं बॉर्न एंड ब्रॉट अप हूँ. तो मेरी मदर देवी की उपासक थी, जैसे नॉर्मली घरों में होता है, पूजा पाठ एंड ऑल. तो बचपन से वो सब देखते आए, तो थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट आ ही जाता है. एंड मैं ऐसा भी नहीं था कि कोई बहुत ऐसी बच्ची थी जो बार बार क्वेश्चन पूछती थी. जो बोला गया वो कर लिया, दैट्स इट. when I grew up and I had my education in Chandigarh and all, तो मुझे पता नहीं क्यों ऐसा कुछ सेंस होता था कि somebody is helping me, some energy is always helping me, and I was too young to understand what it is. बट जब मैं अपनी मदर से बात करती थी तो शी वॉज लाइक भगवान से बात करो एंड भगवान से प्रे करो. समझ में नहीं आता था, बट आई वॉज डूइंग ऑल दैट. Then I started working in Noida and so many things happened. I got married and I went to US after marriage. And wahan pe there was a shift happened in my life, which was not a good episode. तो मेरी मैरिज में प्रॉब्लम्स हुए एंड आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू अ डिवोर्स इन यूएस. तो वहां पे ना आई वाज ऑल अलोन, नो फ्रेंड्स नथिंग. मैं किसी को जानती नहीं थी इनिशियली. तो इट वाज हार्ड एंड पूरा एनवायरनमेंट अलग, पूरा सब कुछ एकदम अलग हो गया. तो आई वाज जस्ट अलोन. दैट टाइम आई रिमेम्बर कि मेरी मम्मी बोलती थी भगवान से कनेक्ट करो एंड बात करो. तो मुझे भगवान में, सभी का एक होता है ना, किसी एक भगवान की तरफ आपका एक अट्रैक्शन होता है, तो मेरा देवी की तरफ ही था. तो आई स्टार्टेड कनेक्टिंग विद हर वहां पे बहुत डीपली, क्योंकि खाली हूँ मैं, वर्किंग भी नहीं थी यूएस में, तो क्या करे कोई जब इतना डिप्रेस्ड फील कर रहा है. तो मे बी आई वेंट विद इन, मैं अंदर चली गई अपने और देवी से कनेक्ट करना शुरू किया. एंड नताशा, स्लोली एंड स्टेडीली आई कुड सी शी इज हेल्पिंग मी. मुझे कुछ साइंस दिखते थे. मैं यूएस में ऐसे ही शिकागो में इधर से उधर कैब्स ले रही हूँ, कुछ कोई मुझे ऐसे कॉन्वर्सेशन हो जाते हैं लोगों के साथ जहां से मुझे कुछ गाइडेंस मिलती है. एंड ये ऐसा नहीं कि मैं डेलिबरेटली ढूंढ रही हूँ कुछ, बट हो रहा है चीजें. इवन मैं किसी स्टोर में जा रही हूँ, वहां पे तो पीपल आर ओपन फॉर कॉन्वर्सेशंस, तो वो कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे मुझे साइंस मिलते रहते थे. आई कलेक्टेड ऑल दोज थिंग्स एंड आई स्टार्टेड लर्निंग टैरो कार्ड्स. ऐसे ऐसे ये हुआ. एंड क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लग रहा था ना, वो होता है ना, डूबते को एक तिनके का सहारा भी हो जाए तो अच्छा है. तो आई वॉज लाइक कि ओके टैरो सीखते हैं, मे बी इससे मुझे कुछ समझ में आए. आई स्टार्टेड दैट थिंग एंड वो 1 महीने में जब मेरा पूरा सब कंप्लीट हुआ, तो मैंने खुद को ऐसे पुश किया कि अब मैं ना लोगों को हेल्प करना चाहती हूँ इसके थ्रू. एंड ऑब्वियसली इनिशियली यू हैव दिस डाउट कि कौन पे करेगा, राइट. एंड स्पेशली इन यूएस कोई मुझे क्यों ट्रस्ट करेगा. तो मैंने ऐसे फ्री में करना शुरू किया. तो ऐसे लिटरली मैं बताऊं ना, हर मोमेंट पे मुझे कुछ ऐसे लोग मिले, मुझे ऐसे साइंस मिले जिन्होंने मुझे बताया कि, जो मुझे बार बार ना रीअश्योर करते थे कि देवी इज डूइंग समथिंग फॉर मी. तो आई मेट अ लेडी जिसका शिकागो में अपना रेस्टोरेंट था, एंड शी वाज लाइक कि अगर आपको फ्री मीटअप्स करने हैं अपने टैरो के, तो यू कैन यूज माय प्लेस. एंड हु सेज दैट? इवन इन इंडिया नोबडी सेज
Exactly.
दैट, राइट. तो मैंने वो शुरू किया फ्री में लोगों को टैरो रीडिंग्स देना वहां पे. लाइक 5-10 का ग्रुप्स है, आओ और टैरो सेशंस ले लो, 2-3 क्वेश्चंस पूछ लो. एंड पीपल लाइक्ड इट सो मच कि उन्होंने खुद ही मुझे पे कर दिया. इट वाज अ स्मॉल अमाउंट, बट फॉर मी इट वाज अ थिंग कि अच्छा पेमेंट मिल सकती है. तो दैट्स हाउ इट स्टार्टेड. एंड फिर मुझे ऐसा ही होता है ना, खुद पे कॉन्फिडेंस आने लगता है, ओके आई हैव समथिंग. फिर मैं इसी फील्ड में एकदम डीप चली गई. एंड उसके बाद तो आई स्टार्टेड डाउनलोडिंग लॉट ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल स्टफ एंड आई हैव माय ओन कोर्सेज, मेनी कोर्सेज एंड मेनी क्लाइंट्स नाउ आई हैव. आई मूव बैक टू इंडिया एंड आई थिंक अभी तक मुझे ऐसा फील होता है कि मेरी जर्नी देवी ही गाइड करती है. दिस इज माई स्ट्रेंथ, दिस इज माई लाइफ फोर्स एक्चुअली. सो मुझे लगा कि आई कैन जस्ट शेयर.
Thank you so much. I mean, that's one like live example of how it works out, right? You just
Yeah.
never know. You just, in the worst of worst, right? It is, and after coming out of it, we start realizing that it was all meant to be.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was supposed to go through all of that so I can have this level of consciousness that I have now.
Yes, yes. अगर वो डिवोर्स नहीं होता, अगर वो इतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता ना, तो मैं शायद कभी टैरो में नहीं आती.
Look at that. And look at now you impacting so many lives here.
Yeah, I'm actually happy. And I have one question for you, Natasha. कि after like by joining this community, what can I gain? And मैं कैसे help कर सकती हूँ यहाँ पे? मुझे क्या मिल सकता है? ये मेरा question actually.
Come and just be Shivangi. Like,
Okay.
just come and be. See, you've taken the journey, right? You
Yeah.
know what it is about. Our agenda, of course, Neo, you on the fundamental side, we're building this as a media company, right? And it's multiple people coming together and saying, hey, we want to create more conscious stuff out there in terms of programs, content, meetups, whatever it is. And we invite people who can contribute to us. Come and
Okay.
co-create stuff with us, co-create programs with us, create webinars with us, right? Do community meetups. We realize that, saying कि हम अकेले करेंगे, it's a very egoistic thing. And especially in this space, it just never happens.
Yeah, true.
So one must come together where the values are aligned, and then we co-create something beautiful out of this, right? So you can come, be a part of, the extended team here, connect with us, become a mentor, right? You can be that and build with Shakti. It is about, even as all of us will be like the pillars here. Eventually, after a while, I want to be able to create a space where we can just feel safe in having this conversation. So some of us have taken the journey, some of us are still in the journey. And when you're in the journey and when you find alignment in other people, the journey accelerates.
Yeah.
Just accelerates. Your energy to this space right now is accelerating all of our growth. Now think about it. All of us. You being here is just accelerating the energy.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing. And we look forward to connect with you also.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Natasha.
So we have Ravi next. Ravi again. Ravi, you can unmute.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Ravi.
hi, hi. Hello, lovelies. How are you all?
Good. Where are you traveling to?
Coming back, firstly, input for today's session can be summed up in just 3 words. It's deja vu. How it is, I will talk about it later. But coming back, I don't know how many of us were there in the last session. I will come back to that, call it the haunting question or call it the questing question that I asked last time. Between the thought between spiritual way of thinking and the business way of thinking as to what is the balance. The question that I had asked in the last session was, in spirituality, we always say, "Karam kiye ja, balki iksha mat kar." Just do your karma, leave the rest to the Almighty. Leave the rest to the cosmic world. While in every business book, we are taught always begin with the end in mind. Okay? Constant watch, target, कितना अचीव हो, टारगेट, ईयरली टारगेट को फिर ब्रेक करो, क्वार्टरली टारगेट, फिर उसको ब्रेक करो, मंथली, फिर उसको ब्रेक करो, वीकली. I'm from sales background, and that is why I'm able to connect and I'm able to understand. So I'm a salesperson who has got into operations, and then I've handled, human resources because I was the head of operations. So the question comes from there. So if somebody can answer the question, if somebody had pondered upon the thought, if people have done the think tanking, if I can get some answers, let's hear from people. And then probably I will like to give my perspective. My story later.
Yeah, we need to hear your story also, Ravi.
I will. Somebody has some thoughts quickly. I will thoughts
Yes,
as to what
Abdul wants to speak out. Abdul, please go ahead. On the question that Ravi just asked. You can unmute yourself. If you can turn on your video, that would be great.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're on.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
So sir, Mr. Ravi sir, which he asked question is about हम जब कर्म करते हैं तो हमें छोड़ना पड़ता है, मतलब किसी हायर सोर्स पे, राइट? सो इट्स काइंड ऑफ दिस, एंड बिजनेस में ऐसा नहीं होता. सो इट्स टारगेट ड्रिवन. सो यहाँ पे मेरा पर्सपेक्टिव ऐसा है कि इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज, आई थिंक, बिकॉज इट्स लाइक, मतलब द्वैत एंड अद्वैत, देयर आर टू सिद्धांता, राइट? इफ we can understood. So it said in Bhagavad Gita, karmanyavadikaraste ma phalechu kadachana ma karma phale heturghurma te sangotsava karmani, right? So कर्म तो हम कर रहे हैं, but it's about the process, and outcome is definitely somewhere it will happen. और वैसे देखा जाए तो there is certain उपासना पद्धतिज. So उधर हम संकल्प लेते हैं कि ये काम हो जाए, या फिर grace, we ask for grace, right? So यहाँ पे I don't think कि exactly ऐसे, but it's about giving importance to the process. Execution तो हो जाएगा, and business में भी कहीं ना कहीं वो होता है. It's about the system, processes, strategies which we give importance to. Target रख के mind में कहीं ना कहीं तो वो हो जाता है. Isn't it so?
So you're talking about the saying, you're just saying कि सब surrender कर दो. in
Not
fundamentally.
exactly, but process पे importance दे दो, ऐसा. तो
Process
कहीं ना हाँ, मतलब एक होप की आशा होती है कि हाँ बाकी तो हो जाना है, ऐसा. But process is most important. It's not like we are not doing any kind of stuff. So ऐसा ना हो.
Yeah. So
What do you think about that?
discipline, surrender, and grace.
Yep.
Discipline करो, processes के अंदर समर्पण कर दो, the grace would flow. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yes.
Good way to look at it, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Ravi, what's your take on this? Do I build a PNL? Do I have a sales meeting? When we don't hit the targets, what do we do? Do we say, Bhagwan, kyun nahi hua? Hey Prabhu, hey Harinam. What do we do in that case? Is Ravi there?
I think there is network issue.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I think we'll come back to this.
Yes.
Big thing to ponder on, right? Because we, like I've been dealing with this.
Right.
When you have P&Ls, sales meeting, when people are not performing well and all that, how do you look at this entire thing completely? Right? Difficult questions, right? But then what Abdul, you also talked about that discipline, consistency, processes become important. That when it comes to processes and discipline, I can't surrender. It's an lack of structure, which is also a skill, and that skill equivalent to is the same Shakti, right?
Yeah.
So using that Shakti, I build structures and disciplines into the way we act, right? And then I have to surrender because I do have a vision. The vision can be that I want to serve 100,000 people, for example, right? You'll have to surrender. You'll have to stick to that whole thing. That also one thing I realized that, asking yourself this question, that is this vision a borrowed vision? बहुत बार हम लोग borrowed सपने जी रहे होते हैं. बहुत बार. Think about it. बहुत बार. And what do I mean by that is, मेरे इकोसिस्टम में सब इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे थे, तो मैंने मम्मी पापा ने बोल दिया तुम भी इंजीनियरिंग कर लो, तो मैं भी इंजीनियर बन गया, जबकि मुझे तबला प्लेयर बनना था, right? And I also realized, and because I was introspecting within my own state of being, and I had to question a lot of that in my previous businesses, I would look at the most audacious dream and vision out there and would try to replicate it. And sometimes it would not fall into place. Most of the time, it would not fall into the place. And now I realize why that was not happening, because the dream was a borrowed dream. It was not aligned to me. It was not that कि मेरे पास skill नहीं है और मैं वो कर नहीं सकता. It was because that dream was not aligned to me, my state of being. So that also happens. Then we can go to Sneha next. Sneha, would you like to share? You have your hand up.
Hello.
Hi, Sneha. Would you like to
Hi.
turn on the video?
Yeah, sure. Hi,
Sneha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, thank you for this session. Actually, I've also joined your previous session also. It was wholesome because I can, connect with it because I feel that I was also doing building with Shakti with my own, thoughts, but you just fired it up, from within. So I'm so grateful for that. And I was looking for people with whom this is my, to be very honest, in my whole family everybody is a working, but I'm the first one who wants to break it and I want to be an entrepreneur. And I
Nice.
don't know, and I don't know how I will do it, but I just made an intention that I want to do it. So I was looking for a community. I was looking for people with whom I can share my ideas, because if I share these ideas with my parents or somebody who is close, from like I have tried it, and their first expression is nobody would believe it, or nobody would be doing it with you, kind of. So I had a very you know various ideas, and then suddenly, when nothing works, you kind of see that nothing is working, and you went into depression, and then you think that nothing will work. So during that phase, I think Ma Durga has helped me a lot in that. I was always a person who asked questions that why things are only this way, why not this way or that way, why everybody, you know, uh, are doing the same things over and over again. Why are not we collectively thinking about the problems, or always, thinking about the better the better world. So I had this kind of spark, but I couldn't. I was like lost somewhere. But now that I have met you and I've met so many amazing people here who were sharing the stories, I feel very grateful to be a part of this conversation. And I'm an architect by profession. So yeah, so it's very enlightening session for me. I got to know, like you have explained it so well, like the depth part of it, that how it actually it's a process that you were explaining was so beautiful. It was like it was connecting in that hitting the right notes, I must say. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for inspiring. And I am in my starting journey of my entrepreneurial journey. So I hope that I can gain something from it, and I can, learn my unique gifts, and I can be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sneha. I think just the realization is a big thing, no?
Yeah.
Saying करना तो है ना? कुछ तो करना है. Now that I have that gift, I better utilize it, right? And you know, लोगों के ना बहुत perceptions होते हैं that people who end up making multi-million-dollar companies are generational creators. You'll not believe 60 to 65% are the first timers.
Oh, wow.
60 to 65% of the people who end up creating multi-million-dollar companies, creating larger impacts on this planet, positively and negatively, I would say, are the first-time entrepreneurs in their entire lineage, I would say. Perhaps not lineage, because koi to raha hoga piche, right? Our ancestors also sometimes come in, 3, 4, like generation back, who were extremely rich, and then there was a dada that had a knack of business mind. They like सब नौकरियां करने लग गए, अब स्नेहा पे आके मैं business वाला करता हूँ. It's sometimes it also works like that if you think
Yeah.
about it. So
Actually, yes. Please continue. Like I had a realization that you said, again a realization that जो भी forces थे, everybody who were around me, they just, whatever I wanted an answer, whenever I wanted an answer, वो जो help होती है ना, वो आसपास से कहीं ना कहीं आ जाता है.
Yeah.
So even it was for my self healing journey, or even it was for my startup ideas, even it was somewhere, helping me getting out there. So there are things, that I just got a realization. So
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
So this community serves that, Sneha. We were looking at the data last time we had. We have people from sales background, people from we had architectures, right? We have business owners here. We have healers. Uh, we do have a lot of multi-millionaires here, by the way, huh? They'll not turn on the videos, I know, but there are people here, right? Our intention is that, see, it will not just be talking, right?
Mm.
No talk is as great as seeing action. I would be truly happy the day I start seeing collaborations in this community happening. Truly happening when people start helping each other and we start just doing stuff here. And we all get to witness. A spiritual pilgrimage is not gonna be going to Kailash. A spiritual pilgrimage collective as a community is going to see someone's vision come alive in form of a company, in form of a YouTube channel, in form of an art exhibition. That's our pilgrimage,
Okay.
right? And the day we see Sneha, I don't know, Sneha, you gotta give yourself time, right?
Yeah.
When are you launching?
Well, right now I am working on how to make our construction industry more, efficient, because we have a very, it's not strategic. Construction industry is more like of, what I have seen is like, we always end up working more, delivering more, but we don't focus on our well-being, or the, deadlines, or whatever it is. Whenever I talk to my friends, whenever I talk to my, people who are working there for, so that they were like कि, no, we have to do it deadline, and they are working week में 2 दिन deadlines होते हैं, then they are not happy like doing their jobs, kind of thing, but they had to do it because they have no other way. So I want to do something with the help of technology, so that they can do they can make the hard part, whatever, like making construction drawings, through softwares like Revit or other softwares, in which they can reduce the workload, and we can think on better solution, like how to design efficiently, and how to inculcate technology into our home. For example, right now there is a crisis of growing crops in the field, right? So there are many strategies about how to inculcate farming in household units, like urban farming. It's a new topic, urban farming. So architects and everybody is doing research on it, but unfortunately, no, everybody, there is no perfect solution to it. We all are working on it, and I'm also researching on it little by little, whatever I can get. So I have this vision that with the help of technology and with the help of designing, we can really achieve sustainable uh, things, because right now the main concern about the planet is sustainability. How we can sustain our resources, how we can manage our resources, because it's getting depleted, and for the next generation, I don't think any of it will remain.
Yeah.
So that's a bigger crisis right now.
Yeah.
So if everybody is not aware of it. Everybody all are entangled in their own bubble. Nobody is actually contributing towards it. That's the main issue.
Mhm. It's also about attunement, right? In the way, if we are not attuned to ourselves, how can we in tune with others?
Yeah,
Or
and yes, that self realization is very important. I mean, I also was not right. Who am I right now? I was not like this person. If you talk back, like 2 or 3 years back. I did healing, I did meditation. I started working on myself. And when I started working on myself, I realized this thing that, oh my God, there is a bigger crisis, bigger problems than, my whole life. I need to, like, it just removes the veil that you live in, right? Otherwise we have to just, I was in this loop that, okay, I have to wake up, I have to go to job, I have to do my work, and then come back again, and I have to do my work, then come back again, I have to save up my money for my future, and then I have to do this and that. It was all pre-planned by my parents. Neha, you have to do this only, we have all been doing like this, now you have to do this also. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I will do something else, better thing.
So you made the dream come true by doing what exactly what they wanted you to become. You've become that. And now it's
Yeah.
about
But
your
I was not, yeah, I was not, I was, it didn't feel like it was me. It felt like more like of them, not me.
no, but now the good part is you have that realization, right? And
Yeah,
and this is the conversation that we need to be having, right? It's about creating and solving fundamental human problems. That's what we are meant to be, right? अब इसमें फंडिंग कैसे आएगी, टीम कैसे आएगी, बिजनेस कैसे बनेगा? Yes, you gotta put certain skill, but you also gotta what Avdut also said that it is discipline of structure, surrender, and then the divine flow.
yes,
How it happened for Shivangni also, right?
yeah,
Intention डाली है ना universe में. Now things will start trickling. Just stay true to the intention though, huh? Ask
yes,
yourself, is this what I truly want to solve for? The moment you have that answer, you have that, I would say, commitment, intent dal di, you will just start seeing the flow. You'll see it in flesh. And
I
do tell
hope
us
so.
what happens.
So, sorry, you were not audible.
I said, do tell us what happens. Keep us updated.
Sure, I will. It's a journey. It's like step by step journey.
We're all
And
here. We're all going to help you.
thank you so much. Thank you so.
Thank you for sharing, Sneha. Take care. So we'll take one last question from Ravi and then we'll wrap it for the day. Hey, Ravi.
Hi. So quickly, just to sum up and my perspective on the question that I had asked, the true art is creating the right balance between the spiritual and the management ways of thinking. I guess attachment to the process and detachment from the result is what I would like to sum it up at, all. Not like to take too much of time. I have a small document that I will share it with you. Probably you can share with everybody here. It's a step-by-step process, which, according to my perspective, defines how we can create the right balance between both the spiritual way of thinking and the management way of thinking. Uh, Quickly about myself, I'm a hotelier by profession. Started my career into sales department with Taj Hotels, and my last assignment was with Ramada Hotel in Dehradun. While I was in Dehradun, I had opportunity of getting into the Himalayas, and since I was a seeker right from childhood, I was born and brought up in Calcutta and Pilur, but the place of Vivekananda was a place where I used to visit every evening. Those aarti, those kirtan, where probably chiseled in my head. Of course, that came back after a period of almost about 20-25 years. Once I started visiting the Himalayas and part of retreats in Rishikesh. So in 2021, I quit and I established a company called Nathasha with a vision of establishing quality hotels for all the spiritual travelers who are going to pilgrimage destinations in India, because that I felt was a shortage. Uh, that is what I'm currently working on. Parallelly in between, and this is why I came to your place, connecting the dots. I went to a retreat in Rishikesh where I met Swami Vikas. Swami Vikas is a yoga teacher and runs his own retreat in a place called Nathasha, which is between Rishikesh and Dehradun. It's a hill town. I met him on a session of about close to 5 days. I asked him a question. Uh, स्वामी जी मेरे कान में ना कुछ zoom करके आवाज आती है. So he said, आपका काम खत्म हो गया है, आप ये बड़े काम करो. I said, what is that bade kaam? So I said, let's bring the spiritual learning and the balance that you have attained. Make this knowledge greater, not it should just be constrained to you. So parallelly, Swami Vikas and the third co-founder in the new venture is pulled out from our last session. Atul Maya, who runs his own wellness consulting firm.
Yes.
He is our new co-founder. Unfortunately, he is not here today. So, with the intent that you had started this journey of Build with Shakti, has already fructified. Atul is already a part of our board. We have already met offline, and we have strike calls beautifully. And I am helping Atul, and Atul is
we now have the first
you
company
and beyond. It's gonna be an IT marketplace for places people. It's a great place for a lot of us who are here in this forum today. It's a place
Yes.
for leaders, place for retreat organizers, place for retreat venues to come together on a single platform. And we in turn will be the middle people marketing this, and seekers can come and find what they want here. So I will connect with you on LinkedIn and over a call as to how we can get support from you. This entire idea, thought, everything has happened in last 15 days. Even the name has come post my session with you of the last session. Of course, all these thoughts come because I am authoring a book which is called The Spiritual Manager. The entire objective of the book is to create a balance and a handy notebook for today's leader. Because we have already changed our thought. The top companies are not looking for managers anymore, and they're looking for leaders. But when they're looking for leaders, I personally feel that there is not much of spirituality which is imbibed in their training program. So this would be a handbook which will give them the right lesson from the teachings of Mahabharata, the teachings of Ramayana, Vedas and the Puranas, and all of this learning. Creating a cocktail with the management science and अध्यात्म. और ये किताब लिख रहा हूँ उसी का एक पार्ट में आपको भेजूंगा. So I guess that's about it. ज़्यादा नहीं बोलूँगा. Rest we will connect, online and we'll talk about it. So once again, thank you. Last, postscript. Yes, you are not alone. On whom people have a watch. My father, my mother, and more than my wife has already chained me through their thoughts, refraining me from getting into the Himalayas and becoming a sadhu permanently.
We all have that family वो हमें avoid कर रहा है कि बाबा ना बन जाए बस
आप
permanently.
अकेले नहीं हो, मेरा नाम ही है बाबा जी. In my whole family, people call me Baba ji. In fact, बड़ी मुश्किल से लोगों ने मेरी दाढ़ी कटवाई. कहा कि बुढ़े लगते हो. Anyways, I will cut my session here. Thank you so much from the force of my heart, and really thankful to you, like-minded people together. And let me tell everybody here, I guess here we are 26 of us. We started with 33. 6 might have some important work. You are not here without any reason. If you think that you have just come here, let me tell you and assure you, you are here because the universal consciousness, the cosmic energies wanted you to be here. That's why you are here. हम कुछ नहीं करते. हम करता नहीं है. करता एक ही है. The universal consciousness. We are just medium और माध्यम. तो आप बस हो यहाँ पे आके सीख करो जैसा नताशा ने कहा, and try and retrospect and find out what is that impact that each one of us can create on this society to make it and leave it as a better place for upcoming generations. Otherwise, जो छोटी सी बच्ची ने कहा था millennial कि हम either we act today or we die tomorrow. So let us all become conscious, all baby steps, and make this planet a better place for our coming generations.
Thank
पौधा
you.
लगाना हो या गाय को रोटी खिलाना हो या कुत्ते को रोटी डालनी हो या गरीब को भोजन कराना, ये सारी हमारी सांस्कृतिक धरोहर है जो हम भूल चुके हैं। हम जाकर के शाम को काम खत्म हुआ, स्ट्रेस है, जाकर के बियर का गजल करते हैं। वो बियर का पैसा उठाओ और बगल के किसी गरीब बच्चे को खाना खिलाओ, that will give you a better kick. Let me tell this to you guys. Try it. Try it.
We're with you. There is also energy that ways. There is no the way we kind of see.
चलो anyways, बहुत
Think
बहुत time
bad
लिया
or
मैंने।
ugly.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing, Ravi. Also, I think if we ever do a Build with Shakti retreat, if we ever all meet offline somewhere, we'll do it at your place, okay?
Please come over. I have multiple places, not one.
Yes, please. We'll all decide. You and Avi are supposed to give us more insight onto this, and you guys are
I
going
will.
to
I'll be sharing a document. It's a 2 A4 pages sheet, which will give the answer to the question. Because right now I summed it up all in just 2 sentences. Attach to the process and detach from the result. ये सारे का process मैं build करके आप लोगों को भेजूंगा. You can share with the rest of them.
No, I think it's so simply put and it's so profound कि P&L hai, sales hai, you're building a business. Get attached to the process. Again, fundamental what Abdul said. कि discipline ले आओ structure के अंदर. Get attached to that whole discipline, consistency and creation of the process. And then surrender. Detach from होगा अच्छी बात है, नहीं होगा मैं फिर भी ठीक हूँ. And then see the magic happens.
I was
That's
not sorry to tell you. I will take another 5 minutes, Nathasha. Society group, there was a chat happening. Is there a common meditative session that we can do? So I write an answer there. I get another answer from another gentleman. Incidentally, his name is also Ravi. He's a healer. We, in about 20 minutes of time, we meet outside our society gate in the marketplace. And I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a pranic healer and I make my living through healing. I said, that's great. I have a little bit of understanding of it, so I can absolutely understand what you're saying. So when can we do this meditative session? He says, after 15 days. I said, why not in this 15? He says, no, I'm going to recharge myself to the Himalayas. So I was a little intrigued. I said, कहाँ जा रहे हो? So he says, मैं कैंची धाम जा रहा हूँ, भीम करोली बाबा से मिलने. तो मैंने कहा, great, can I tag along with you? तो कहता है कि sure, let me ask my other friends. And today, he, along with his 5 group members, we have just completed spiritual journey of 7 days. We have visited places like
I believe Atul was also attending. Atul was also there because last time
it's an amazing place.
He was also coming from Kenchidham. And 3 days before that, I was in Kenchidham. So it's the Kenchidham connection that we all have, perhaps.
We did Patar Bhubaneswar, we did Jageshwar Dham, we did Bageshwar, and the last and the most, mysterious and mystical place was Kasar Devi. It takes you into silence. Kasar Devi is in a place called it's in Uttarakhand, and I'm just forgetting the place, very close to Almora, just about 9 kilometers from Almora. This place is known for its
the Devi is saying you have a connection now.
Geodesic place where the way is located. Oh no, this got popular because Swami Vivekananda went and meditated there. The geomagnetic field there is absolutely apt for taking you to the elevated levels. And believe it, it's an amazing place. So these are 4 places which people can visit in case they are little spiritual and they believe in Shakti or Bhakti.
Yeah.
जाओ और देख के आओ. It's
Let's all
amazing.
travel together also.
चलो,
if-
thank you so much, guys.
Thank you,
आइए
Ravi.
आइए, बहुत मजा आएगा.
हाँ
I am a
जी.
storyteller and I love stories.
Perfect.
Thank you
We
so
have a
much.
storyteller already.
All the
ठीक है. So yeah,
Oh,
thank you
sorry.
so much. I think
Bye-bye.
we'll wrap it up for today, guys. See, within this whole thing, I think epiphanies kaise ho jati hain, right? With the way Shivangni shared her story, right? Ravi and Atul, there is already a business blooming within 15 days. So more happy about that, right? So this is what happens. This is flow. This is we doing nothing. We just showing up, and that source just finding channels. And remember, we're all antennas. And antenna source तभी catch करता है when you're in alignment. And nobody can bring you into alignment. No guru, no external party in the world can come up to you and say, hey, I'm going to bring you into alignment. Alignment is a self thing. It's a self-discovery, self-introspection, and then it kind of comes that way, right? We have a team member who goes for marathon runs, right? He goes for marathon runs just to find attunement and alignment. Now, कोई बोलेगा मैं मंदिर जाके करूं, कोई बोलेगा self introspection. There are different tools. Tools work differently for different people, right? Find your tool. Find what works for you. You will find that alignment. Once alignment is there, the answers will flow, the energy will flow that is already there. It will match, and then beautiful stuff will automatically happen, right? Who knows that your future co-founder is in this group? Who knows your future investor in this group? You just don't know, right? And this is one part of the group. We are looking at building this. Of course, not drastically ki koi bhi aa raha hai, but looking to build it in a manner that we build a community of serious seekers and creators, right? And thank you so much, everybody. Next time on 8th of June, we are going to meet Samir. I told you, a crazy guy. Crazy guy. This is one guy that world needs to know. He's not out there. He's not popular. He lives very simple life in Pondicherry, but he runs a massive $1 million fund that has invested in the top companies that we know of in India today, right? Again, beautiful thesis on life. Let's go and learn from him on 8th. And do join the community that we have. Nathasha, I'll leave that over to you. We do have a Build with Shakti community, which is going to get activated aggressively now in the sense that we're going to have more conversations there. So feel free to join that. And I leave it to you, Nathasha, now. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nathasha, for this absolutely impactful and really insightful session. What I really loved, of course, and I'm sure that each one of us can resonate that this is the intention that we started with, right? Like this is the kind of conversations we had when we were conceptualizing the whole Build with Shakti community. That there would be a lot of creators who would come up, who would brainstorm together, who would try to build things together. And what we hear today is just absolute testament to that when your intention is right, when your heart and mind is, I think again, this is just the Shakti working through us and bringing people together to turn their ideas into reality. So absolutely loved each and every bit of it. Thank you to each one of you. Also for participating and making it so interactive, because it also tells us that what we are bringing to the table is highly valued, and we are able to solve what you guys were looking for. In fact, I think, Nathasha, if you have just like a couple of minutes, Varun had one question. That's just one question on the chat. He wanted to know, how do you find balance in keeping learning new things, the circle of self-improvement, to actually start doing things?
This is a big one. I think massive one, because I was roasted for this yesterday, huh? By the way, big time. Like, ये नया सीखती रहती है कुछ ना कुछ, मतलब the curiosity just never ends, and then it just. See, I think the answer would come back to that whole point of कई बार हालात इंसान को पुश कर देते हैं, I feel, to come into the action and say no more. You've learned enough for now act. Right? वो हालात करते हैं. The funds run out, something or the other happened, the job goes away, the business tanks. You're like, acha, ab to karna padega, right? The other thing is that you take the self accountability of saying, hey, there is a discipline and consistency that I need to bring into my being. And creatives, people who are creatively bent of mind, have a challenge with consistency and discipline. Right? It is, I face that. Like, I have a very difficult challenge with consistency and discipline. But over the years, I had to train myself, knowing that yes, one is that I completely be like, yaar, main to aise hi hu. You know, one is that we usually say that, main to aise hi hu. Mera to sunshine hai, isliye I act this way. You know, we just try to blame it on external things, right? My moon sign is this, mera to kaam mein, I'm a Taurian, I like to sleep and suddenly wake up and make money. I can put it on external stuff, which I was. Like, मैंने बहुत time मेरी Taurian story तो 10-12 साल चली है. That when I sleep, let me sleep. When I get up and make money, you let me make money. And that was my reality. I would sleep and I would just get up suddenly. I would get this jolt of reaction and I would do something and it would make me money, right? But I had to really rub that in the ground after a particular experience of saying, hey, now discipline is going to be something that I need to live with. And for me, it came after a lot of scolding from my teacher. It was after scolding. It was like, how do I put it? If you guys know shadow work, go on YouTube and Google and search shadow work. Shadow work is nothing but talking to your subconscious, talking to the part of your brain जो act करता है without you knowing that you're acting. Right? Because we're putting everything on subconscious. The fact that I'm not on discipline and consistency, what is in my hidden part of my subconscious brain that is enacting me to be that way. So shadow work helped. My teacher took me to a rigorous process of dhona, you know, like making me face with truth over and over again, the ugly side of my being, right? That was, I think that worked for me in the sense that I'm not saying I'm completely there, but that is one thing that worked for me. Either somebody does it for you or you do it to yourself, but going to the subconscious, finding the answers there, facing the darkest part of your being would eventually lead into an answer to why are you not disciplined? And then, of course, coming back and saying, let me challenge myself. Let me challenge waking up at 5:30 in the morning for 7 days. Let me challenge quitting sugar for 10 days. Let me challenge not ghosting people. You know, I have a poor habit of ghosting people because I get overwhelmed with work a lot. I'm given the opportunity to do a lot in life. I have a habit of ghosting people. I like, kya bolu ab isko main? So I got into the discipline and say, hey, I'll perhaps write a short answer, but I'll write. So micro experiments, subconscious, and I think that's how we kind of tweak. We build new neuro patterns in our mind to be able to say, hey, my story is not that I'm a Taurian, I'm a lazy Taurian, I'll make money and I'll sleep. Let me change my reality. Let me see if the energy is so potent. Think about that whole Shakti energy. If the Shakti is so potent, ये किसी को कुछ भी convert कर सकती है. Can I convert my behavioral pattern around it? So it was an experiment. And I think the experiments would work. So try experimenting with, try seeing where you're not. And stop the story. I'm a creative, और creatives तो lazy होते हैं. Creatives तो पैसा नहीं कमाते. Creatives तो discipline नहीं होते. Let's change the narration. For once. Because knowing me and knowing the power that energy is, I'll be like, मुझे ना typecast नहीं होना. Think about it. Don't typecast yourself. So to get out of the typecasting behavior, we need to put in the action, and that's where discipline perhaps would come in. I'm trying. I hope you try to. And perhaps we'll meet someday and say, share our learnings. Yeah.
I hope, Varun, that answered your question, right? And I think it definitely made a lot of sense what you spoke about shadow work. That is just a part of the subconscious make you do and act in a certain way. So yes, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for sharing your questions, participating, interacting. A big thank you to you, Nathasha, for taking us on this journey of helping us figure out how to tap into that energy and work with it. And like Nathasha shared, that we will be back for our third round on 8th of June. We'll be sharing the details very soon. I posted the Build with Shakti group WhatsApp link in the chat box. If you guys have not joined yet, please click on the link to join it. And we'll be sharing the details over there soon. And I hope to see you and many other new faces for the third edition, because I can definitely vouch for it that it's going to be interesting, the guest that she's bringing in. And I'm sure that there will be more insights. There's an entire week for you guys to work on whatever has been shared and to have those insights and breakthroughs. So thank you so much, everyone. And we will see you guys on 8th of June. Thank you so much. Take care.